Thank you for joining us for our weekly Q&A. We've got some fun stuff to talk about today, and it actually came from when we got off our live last week. We started having a conversation about Valentine's Day that was coming up and different things like that, and that's what prompted this discussion. So before we introduce ourselves, today we're talking about how business and marriage are parallel and the things that you can apply in both business and marriage. So
Oh,
fun stuff today.
gonna be interesting.
Yes, yes. All right, Wulwyn, go ahead and introduce yourself first.
I'm gonna be quick. My name is Wulwyn Port. I run Joseph Solomon Management Consultancy. Multiple years of doing this stuff, but I just want to jump in this conversation. You can go to www.josomc.com. Just hey, Sarah, hurry up. Let's jump in.
He's the process part, systems and setting up process and automations and making your business run faster is him. I am Sarah Madras. I am the people part of our dynamic. And,
Sarah.
and my expertise is people, mindset, why people do the things they do, their hidden deepest desires, and things like that. Oh, well, when I didn't change it either. I don't know if I can manage changing it
This
at
is
the
where you
same
have to
time.
go. http://bit.ly/people process profits.
There we go. We forgot to do it. Okay. So now they know us. Let's just jump on in. So can I
Jump.
tell them the story about how this
Tell 'em,
came about?
please do. Please do.
Okay. So last week I was sharing how we had a recent podcast guest on the Girls Who Do Stuff podcast. And during that podcast, I had this huge aha moment. And the guest was talking about how because she's the connector and is always organizing events, that then she gets stuck in that role of always planning things. And she realized, they always assume she's going to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the role people assume of me too. And that I'll just plan things. And so if I don't plan them, then they don't happen. And it made me, and I was telling Wulwyn how I realized that, oh my gosh, there's one person in my life who has planned things for me. It's one of my best friends. Her name is Katie. And I had reached
Shout
out
out
to
to
her.
Katie.
Yeah, shout out to Katie. And that I reached out to her when I had the aha moment and acknowledged her of saying, like, oh my gosh, I just realized this. Like, you helped plan my events and activities for my bachelorette weekend. You helped with the day of wedding. She planned engagement parties,
Mm,
both of my baby showers for my boys. You know what I mean?
wow.
And how that made me feel so loved and
Is Katie
so
local?
appreciated. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And that really just made me feel so loved and appreciated to just be able to show up and enjoy myself rather than all the planning and all the work that goes in beforehand. And so when I had that conversation, y'all, literally, Wulwyn is sitting there and he leans back in his chair. He puts his hands on his head and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing something right now. And so Wulwyn, tell them, what were you realizing?
No, we the multiple things I realized. I started to think about my marriage. I started to think about, oh my goodness, when was the last time I planned something for my wife? When was the last time I took, just total control of it to and from A to zinc.
Mm-hmm.
One, two, and then I told Sarah, oh, I asked her, where do you want to go for dinner on Valentine's? And Sarah's like, Wulwyn. Pew.
No, that you were like, oh, I realize Verlin's like you too. So I'm gonna ask her where she wants to go for Valentine's.
Correct, correct. And Sarah's like, well, what? You're the one planning. You know your wife. And I go, I know my wife. I know my wife. So I can just go and plan it and surprise. And even if I miss it by maybe a millimeter or two, because I know her and you know your wives,
Mm-hmm.
you know your spouses,
Yep.
even if I miss it, missing it will will not supersede the joy she experiences
Right.
in
The
that
effort you put
process.
in. Yep. And for her to be able to just show up and enjoy it. Yep.
Correct.
And I
Correct.
told him, I was like, you don't ask her what she wants to do or where she wants to go, because then she's having to mentally plan it and decide, and you're executing it. But she had to make decisions. And a lot of times we're on decision overwhelm.
Mm,
And we just want to be able to show up and enjoy it, to be able to just show up, sit in it, and enjoy it. Right. And so, how many times are clients in decision overwhelm? They're in
mm.
decision overload.
And we thought, gosh, business and marriage. Now, the only, I said business and marriage, but I'm thinking about love and marriage, love and marriage.
I was not
Just
allowed to watch
together
that
like
show
the
growing
horse
up.
and the carriage.
Listen,
I used to like that. Hey, I gotta go. I was just sitting in the chair. But how many times in our business relationships, even though I will say, ask your clients what they want, ask them. But I talk about this in when we work with our clients, Sarah. It's put motion sensors in your business. And what are motion sensors? You know that when you enter the house, the light knows, hey, I'm supposed to turn on in this hallway and it's dark. Boop, the light comes on. You walk, you go in the bathroom, the light turns on, you get through, you get out, light goes off. Hallway lights come back on, or the night light in the hallway, right? In the night you walk in, it comes on. Ta-da. So motion sensors in business, you understand convenient engineering where you listen to your clients, you listen to them over time, listen to them over time, listen to them over time, and you know that the customer, your client comes in your business, your onboarding process. You have done this so many times that you can preempt. So Minority Report, right? You preempt and know what's going to occur in the next segment of your engagement, and you give them the option or give them that thing that then they go, every time you hear a customer go, oh my goodness, you thought about this? Is your wife or your husband going, you thought about this also? Oh my goodness, I love you. What does that translate to? A lifelong partner and a lifelong client that they
yep,
will keep coming back to you and coming back to you, for you are the love doctor.
right? And I'll tell you a story about this in playing out in business. So I had a client that I've been working, one of my one-on-one coaching clients that I've been working with for a year. He had told me, oh, I can't meet on Wednesday because that's my son's birthday, da 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 da. And so we
Mhm.
picked a new date, right? Well, on Wednesday, I text and said, a happy birthday gift and said, happy birthday, and put his son's name in there. On our coaching call that week, he was like, Sarah, no one has ever, he's like, I've never worked with a coach or any business relationship where they like listened, then remembered, and then took the step to be like, happy birthday. Did it? He's like, you sent me a text to say happy birthday and remember my kid.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And so it's
Wow.
that, like we were talking about last week, of the voice of the customer. When you listen to the voice of the customer and you do those little thoughtful things, then you have raving customers who are like, oh my gosh, I've never felt more seen and valued by a coach in my life.
So
And just like in your marriage, when you listen to the voice of your spouse and you go, oh, I heard that thing you said, I remembered it, and then I followed through with it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you remembered. I feel so seen. I've never felt so loved before in my life.
I think it's laziness on the business and the spouse who hears, but they don't listen,
Right.
right? They hear it, and they go, okay, goes through one ear and goes through the other. Where you listen, it stops between the ears and you process, and you put something in your processes that would say, ah, I need to do this, put this in my system.
Yep.
When I was working in RTP,
We've got Dwayne Bruce watching with us. Thank you, Dwayne, for joining us.
Hey there, Dwayne. Dwayne Patterson?
No, Bruce.
Dwayne Bruce. Okay, come on, say last names. We know we got a whole lot of Dwaynes in our Rolodex. So, hey, Dwayne, what's going on? Not that I didn't want Bruce to be on here. um, so I remembered so busy. And I would get home and Verlin would go, wow, you forgot to call me today. I'm like, oh my goodness, honey, sorry. Da, da. And over it went on and on. And then I listened one day and I said, hold up, I use my calendar as my guide. So I know some of you would say, oh, that's not the way to do it for you. Yes, I did. At different points, I had call Verlin.
Yep.
And then I made it infinity.
Yep.
Never
Repeating.
going to stop. Repeating forever. And guess what? If I miss one, I would get either 1 out of the 3 or 2 out of the 3. On days, man, I would do 3 for 3 and it should be like, oh, honey. I'm like, yeah, baby. And I'll be like, hey, Outlook, 2 stars,
Yep.
5 stars.
Yep.
Because that's listening and using the tools within your toolbox in order to satisfy your clients, to satisfy.
Yep.
I know this is kind of cold, Sarah, calling your spouse a client, but
no, we're doing the parallels.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is what the business needs. Gosh, I'm going to ask this question. Is your business a mirror of your marriage? For those who are married, Sarah, and when I ask this question, meaning if your business is struggling, this is a good research thing. For those of us who are in business, if our businesses are struggling, is it a mirror of what our relationship looks like?
The answer is yes, because we actually don't have business problems. We have personal problems that are showing up in our business.
Whoa, expound, please.
Okay. So just like you said, if you're having problems in your business, is it a reflection? Like, is it a mirror of there's things going wrong or things off in your marriage?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is yes, right? Because the way we work as humans, we would like to think that we are robotic and that we can compartmentalize and just be very like, boop, 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 but we're not robots, we're humans. And so when something personally is going on with us, say that we have a personal issue with money and money mindset, and we're not budgeting or we're afraid to spend money, and our personal experiences and our past history traumas when it comes to money, what we grew up, then shows up in our business as we're not investing in ourselves. We're not investing money into a program that would expand our business, like a system that would expand our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like you're not spending money in your marriage to do something nice and go out on a date because you're like, no, we have to keep all the money right here. We have to save all the money. We have to prepare for the future. Da, da, da. So
Okay.
all of our personal stuff, because we are people, so everything about us is personal. Our mindsets, our thoughts, our beliefs, our values, all of that is personal stuff that we take along with us into our marriage, into our business. And so every business problem can be traced back to a personal problem.
Wow. So I kind of agree with you, but how about the bad husband who is a great dad?
Okay.
How different is that from the bad CEO who is a great husband? You know what I mean?
Right.
I can see how there are.
Because that's that area of being a CEO, right? So like in his business, he can be an awesome CEO because it's, what does awesome mean? Is it the bottom line is so healthy because he knows how to systemize and he knows how to keep a lean business. And so as a CEO, he's seen as successful. But then at home, he never spends any time or attention or quality time with his spouse. He's always focused and married to work versus married to his spouse. And so, yes, you can have a successful CEO and a fallen or, detrimental, not successful marriage.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. When I was talking just now, when a question came up, personal problem showing up in our business, or, business into our personal, but then we always hear, don't mix business with with pleasure, right? Don't mix business with your personal. Don't mix your personal with your business. I I I I feel I can compartmentalize. I feel like I can do well in my business, because, something, the business reacts to my processes. The business reacts to my actions. The business doesn't say, the business questions me, but I have a choice to listen or not listen, and do, and I can fail in it. It's the same thing at the house. When I come and bring my processes at the house, my co-partner, my co-CEO tells me, nah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, but why don't you want to do it? Because at the business, nobody stops me from
Right.
executing it. But
Right.
at the house, my co-CEO has a different idea. So this
Right.
is, what's up with that though?
So I think that's the difference between a solopreneur and a partnership. You're in a marriage, you're in a partnership. When you're a solopreneur, it's just you. But the
Girl,
stuff
you
that's going
smart. You
on.
smart, girl. You smart. You smart. I'm trying to put you, in a corner. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk to me.
So when you're in the partnership, right? If things are going bad in that partnership, or if you're struggling because of parenting and you're having a difficult time with a child, that is going to show up in your business in some way. If that means that you would have spent 8 hours in your business that day, but instead you had to take your kid to such and such appointment, or that it's affected the business because instead of 8 hours, now you have 6 hours.
Yep.
So that's what I mean about, yes, we can still be successful in different avenues because we have strength sets and we can turn them on, we can turn them off. Yes, but to say that business and personal are completely separate compartments, that to me is not correct. Like that's
Mm,
just not true,
mm.
because we are humans and things overlap and integrate. And so if something's going on with your kid, even if it just means it affected my business and that I lost an hour that I would have worked in my business today.
Is Dwayne still on? Dwayne, what do you think, man? I need some help here. And it's not male against female. No, no, it's not. It's not. It's, just different ideas of how do you see it? How do you see a marriage as it compares to, to our businesses?
Well,
That's
and
that's
the things you learn in your marriage, you can then take and apply into your business and vice versa, right? Like it's that crossover, like weaving of
yeah.
the two. Just like you said, the example of the calendar. That's something that I taught couples when I was doing couples counseling, right? As I
Mm,
said, put a reminder, put an alarm on your phone, right? I do the same thing. You want to know how I remembered to text that client? It's because as soon as I got off our coaching call, I put it on my calendar of the birthday. When clients say to me, I'm having, another client was having a procedure, I put it on my calendar and set an alarm to go off so that I reached out to them and said, hey, good, I'm going to be thinking about you, going to be sending you healing thoughts for your cert, you know what I mean? And so it's really just, like you said, not hearing, it's listening and taking it in, and then taking that one extra step. We don't need to overcomplicate things, y'all.
mm,
Like
mm.
life is busy, it's complicated enough. We're trying to do all the things. So keep it simple of just putting it as an item on your calendar with an alarm to trigger and cue you.
I so I'm listening to you, and I remember there was an argument we had in B school. It was an argument that we had to pick sides. It was a debate, and it was about the three P's: people, process. No,
Plug us. Go ahead. Plug us, Wulwyn.
People, process, and profits, right? But it was people, planet, and profits. So we got 2 out of the 3, right? People, planet, profits. And it said, which one of those come first as a business owner? Um, and there were individuals with profits, profits, profits. And I was people, people, people. Other people, planet, planet, planet. So our mindset, just what you said, our personal views, if I take that people into my relationship, I'm taking my spouse, I'm taking my children, I'm taking account the people aspect first in my relationship before I think about the profits.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm taking profits in my business first, when I come to the relate to my family, to my marriage, everything that I am, is it true that everything that I am thinking is the bottom line? Am I going to, what are we going to do here about this? No, we will not go on vacation, honey. But
Right.
I'm not thinking about the people aspect, her or his fun, his
Yeah.
likelihood of enjoying something, taking
And
her or him
quality
into
time,
account.
connection. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Connect, correct, correct. So if I come and bring this argument to you and say people, planet, or profits, and I think I kind of know, but what would you say as it pertains to business, and then how that translates to your relationship?
Well, to me, it's like any formula. When you take away a piece of it, the formula breaks down and it's not successful. So, in order for the formula to be successful, you have to have all 3 pieces. So,
All
whether
three,
you,
no, no, all 3 are there, but which one is priority for you? People, planet, or profit?
to me, it starts with the people.
Gotcha.
Because if I'm not listening to the voice of the customer, if I'm not listening to the voice of my spouse, then I don't know what to plan or how to plan for success.
Correct. Correct. Agree. And I agree with you that all 3 have to be in, because you're not in business for people. You're in business to make profit. But and in the conversation, I want us to remember this. It's not just your clients, it's your employees that come
Exactly.
with people.
Yep.
People constitute not only clients, but your internal clients first.
Yes.
If your employees, and I hate to call them employees, if your
Your team.
coworkers, if
Yeah.
your
If your team.
team
Mhm.
is not priority one, how does that translate to your clients?
Mhm. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I
And
hear
that's
you,
why I
sir.
made the difference between partnership and solopreneur. If you're a solopreneur, you don't have a team yet, right? If you're an entrepreneur, then you have your team. And then that's when it's, I'm going to listen to what my team needs. I'm going to take note of when my office manager, when her oldest got diagnosed with COVID, I was texting every other day, how are you guys feeling? Da, 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 da. When he had his first lacrosse game, the next day I text and said, how did the game go? And
Yes.
y'all, it's not like, well, I'm saying this and giving these examples because I'm letting you know it takes a minute. It takes 1 minute out of your day, 1 minute of effort when I'm sitting at a red light or I'm sitting in carpool to pick up the kids, of to text and be like, how was the lacrosse game?
No
Or
texting, not
one
driving.
Voxer. No, I said at a red light. Did you hear me? I said a red light.
I know, but don't
Or
don't
a
miss.
Voxer, a voice memo that says, hey, how's everybody feeling? Do you need, like, you want me to drop off dinner? Like those little, that's a minute
Yes.
for that
Sir,
person to feel valued as a member of your team.
correct. And you know what I just found out? I found this out maybe 2 weeks ago. The scheduled message feature for texting.
What?
Oh,
Which is this?
dear, dear, oh dear.
Share the wealth, please.
The scheduled message for texting. So you know how at 10 p.m. you get the aha and you can't
Yep.
text because Sarah and Matt are watching the binge
No, I'm
watching
asleep.
something.
I am asleep and my ringer's off. Text me
Sarah's
anytime.
sleeping, and she can't answer this, but I don't want her phone to beep, and
Right.
embarrass or
Yep.
do. So I painters. I thought about sending the painter a message, and I said, man, I want to send this. And then I started playing around my phone, and I hit options, and I see schedule message. So it's like a Hootsuite where you can schedule stuff to go on your various social media. It comes in your phone, people. So click, I know some of you know it, click on it and say 9:05 or 9:07, some random '07 or say that I did it there. I didn't do it at 9 or 9:30 or 9:45, some random number '07. Hit send, and that thing just goes in the queue and say, I'm waiting for 9:07 tomorrow, 9:07. So what I started to do, birthdays for clients, I'm going in there going, dot, 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 schedule at 11:02. And
Right.
guess what? She hits me up, Wulwyn thing. I'm like, hey girl, you're good,
Yeah.
thinking about you. But I was thinking about her, but I used
Yes.
my tools.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Ah. So
Yeah.
Sarah, wrap us up. Wrap us up. Listening.
Yep. So it's a matter of listening, remembering, and taking action.
Mm, mm. Listening, remembering, taking action. Hey folks, we have so much more to talk about. I know this was a good segue in our conversations, but I love how we merged marriage and business. But if you have any questions for us, send us email. Go to right there.
Yep.
And
Can I add one more thing? Right.
please do, please do.
Because it's like, all right, people are, especially entrepreneurs, are like, all right, I'm going to focus on my business and I want to be successful and yada, yada. And so they'll remember the stuff for their business, but then they don't apply it to the marriage. Right. And so it's like, well, what is more important? Your client's satisfaction or your spouse's satisfaction in a successful
Mm,
family marriage? You know what I mean?
mm,
So
mm.
it's just putting that into perspective of what is more important.
Wow.
And if you're
I hope,
willing to do it for your business, why are you not willing to put that effort into your marriage?
and let us know. Put it down in the comments here.
No judgment, just putting that question out there.
Now you got me coming to lean back now and think on
See, now you're gonna lean back.
when the client calls and I have to pick up the phone. I'm not having dinner, but I have to pick up the phone because the client is important. When the spouse calls and I look and I say, I'll get you later. Mm. Ah,
Stuff to think about.
things that make you say,
How
All
many
right,
film
Sarah.
references can we get in this 30-minute episode?
Ah, this is supposed to be a fun conversation. Now you got me thinking and going deep. I don't want to go deep. So you know what?
If you don't want to go deep, don't hang out with me. That's all I do.
I'm thinking here. I'm thinking, yeah, yeah. Let us know some of those things, right? And send us your questions in the comments or email, and let's
Yep.
talk about it next week.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you here next week on Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Central Time. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.